Hey, what's good, everyone? Look, Last Man here. Time to change the hydraulic filters here in the Zamboni 546. It's been about 3 or 4 years since we changed them. I've kind of heard two schools of thought about how often you should change your hydraulic filters. One school of thought says you shouldn't change them very often because that's when you can introduce contaminants in your system. And another school of thought is that you should change them every year. So I don't think you should wait 3 or 4 years like we did. Probably every 1 or 2 years. 3 years tops, maybe, depending on what type of rink you are. If you're a 6-month operation rink, part-time, seasonal rink, I can see 2 or 3 years, but 12-month operation, like kind of we are, you probably should be changing these things every year, 2 years tops. And where I've talked to people from different industries in the marine or heavy equipment, so it probably depends on what type of machine you're using and what environment you're using it in, because marine equipment, everything on boats and motors and hydraulic systems gets just so much more load and it breaks down so much more frequently. So you definitely want to be changing your filters on your marine equipment a lot more frequently. Heavy equipment, probably under a greater load than this machine here. Probably depends on who's driving it, but every 1 or 2 years tops, I'd say. I like to do every year, but this filter right here, this is like a $160 filter. This one we got a little while ago. I've had this on the shelf for probably 1.5 years, 2 years now because I've been wanting to do this. It's probably like a $65, $70 filter. And it's a 50, 160 in hydraulic liquid. This right here, the red liquid, this was $9 a quart. So it gets kind of pricey. But you don't want to overlook things on a machine, wait too long because things add up and creep up. So here we are. So let's go ahead and change these things out. Not terribly hard. I always have more difficult with this one, getting the threads on. And it's a little bit harder to get this behind the propane tanks. We'll show you here in a minute. This one is usually out in the open, but on the 500 here, the 546, they've located it right behind the battery here. And typically it's located right over here on the 500. So I'm not sure why they moved it. Probably just kind of share the same bracket right here. Not terribly difficult, but you see this machine over here, it's just right there, really easy to get to. So let's go ahead and set some things up here. I'll get this filter off. What I'm going to do, I got a oil filter wrench. I got some bags here, some small bags I'm going to tie on. Typically, I like to move the machine somewhere else when I do oil changes or deal with any kind of hydraulic fluids, but I feel kind of confident I could catch all of it in these bags right here. So we'll just do that instead of moving it to the side. And the back over here, haven't done it yet, but I got the propane tanks off. Got me a 1/2 inch socket set up. We're gonna have to remove these bolts right here, a couple on the bottom, take this back plate off right here, bracket for the propane tanks, and that filter is located right about here. So we get the camera set up, get things going here. All right, here we go. The first thing I'm gonna do is put a bag here so to capture any oil that's dripped off. I'm gonna stick this around the filter itself. Probably should have cracked the filter a little bit before I stuck it in there. I got it loose a little bit. There we go. Ooh, that wasn't too hard. Alright, let's see how much comes out. Let me get this thing prepped before I get it off. Remember to pop the O-ring out of the filter and lube it up with some clean oil. Stick that back in there. Ah, dang it. That was pointless. Went on here. Hands are so slippery, things slip around my hand. There you go. A back thread, and turn it backwards a little bit. Get the threads to line up, then you go the other way. Thread it on. See, that's tight. Alright, not too bad. Again, this one's the easier one. Let me go and clean up the hydraulic fluid that's spilled down there, a little bit spilled down there, and get this here on top too. So then we'll go ahead and hit that main filter. Alright, here we go. Like I said, we're gonna have to take off this propane bracket right here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, And I think we're gonna need to take this one off right here. Let's go ahead and undo that right now. Get the ratchet out and get the rest of them liquidly split here. All right, like I said, you got 2 bolts there, and you got this one right here. This little cover covers the snow from shooting out. I'm using a socket to get this one out. Again, 1/2 inch. I'm going to take the bottom bolts out first. I think it's going to be easier to get the bracket off than getting the top than the bottom. This is a little handy thing to have. You can stick on your drill. Just to get in the camera right there. You turn your drill into a little socket drill. I think it hooks on here. Yeah, there you go. All right, there's the main filter, at least a big hydraulic filter right there. We'll change out and get everything cleaned up. I don't want to explain what this stuff does because I'm actually not terribly sure. I know this is a manifold, as well as this is the emergency bypass manifold. So when I gotta review the video, I should have my drivers review the video, and you guys should review the video. Put the link up there in the top, a little box if it comes up. But I believe that if you rotate that switch when you're doing the hand pump, at least the knob, when you do the hand pump right there, it kind of bypasses the tank, so you can just pump the conditioner up and not the tank and the conditioner, because I think they both pump up at the same time if you're trying to pump one or the other up. I think that's what that's for. But go ahead and check that video out. It's probably a good thing to review for all of us. But go ahead and get my other filter prepped. Get a bag here. And I'm going to try to put a pan there to capture anything that the bag doesn't capture. So when I started spinning the filter, it kind of took the bag with it. So I got a little bit on the ground. Not a huge deal. So I'm going to get everything prepped up here, set up, and we'll get that filter changed. What I'm going to use this time is the strap wrench. This strap wrench is not ideal. We used to have something like this that's a little bit bigger, but for some reason I can't find it. Things always have a tendency to walk out of here. So when I put it back on, I'm going to be really careful using this thing, but taking it off, not terribly concerned about it. There we go. Just to break it. I don't think I'm going to use this thing to tighten it. I'm not sure what I'm going to use, but I need to use something else. Oh my god, there it goes. Alright. Thing's heavy. Alright. Still coming out. Look at a bucket here. Oh, okay. Alright, I got the filter here, the new one. I got the O-ring inside of it right there, because the other one used the O-ring. This is a tricky part right here, getting this thing threaded back on. I'm a little concerned about this, to be honest. Come on. Oh, I got it. I got it. It's on. Oh, yes. Oh my God. That's the big thing. I don't care about the little mess right here. That is the big thing right there. All right, it's on. Woo! Sorry, last time that gave me such a hassle. All right, using this the belt here, I got it tight enough so it doesn't seep. But using this thing to put it on, it's just going to damage it. So I'm going to run to the hardware store or the auto store and grab me a filter strap wrench that will fit that thing. That's an expensive filter and there's no way I'm going to damage it. Alright, expensive oil filter wrench for expensive filter. $49 for the wrench. $130 for the filter. Just cinch this thing on here. Alright, I got it on as tight as I can get with this thing. Let me go ahead and fill it up. Alright, as you can see here, we gotta add some hydraulic fluid or transmission fluid. It's type F right here is what I'm using. It's red, same color. Should be good to go. Get a funnel up there, add some, see how much it takes. Alright, that's 4. Alright, it's number 5 right here. Just put that right in there just like that. Alright, I'm going to start her up. Let me put the camera over here, I guess. I want to keep an eye on the filter as well as the level there. I've got to turn something on to get hydraulic fluid pumping through the system. Makes sense to me. Go with the vertical auger. Oh no, I got no gas can stuck to it. You're not gonna get very far. Alright. No propane hooked to it. You just see the level go down just a little bit there. Just a little bit. So I'm gonna add one more quart and call it good. Slap everything back together. Continue to monitor the level of the hydraulic fluid. Alright, let me slap everything back together. I did put, I don't want to even call it an eighth of a turn on that thing, but I turned it a little bit more. Grabbing it from the top because it just kind of dents down here where it's strong. I did turn it a little bit more just to make sure it's on tight. I'm going to get all the bolts in place first, and I'll tighten them all up. Remember, the one that's holding the other side of the curtain up is this one right here. It's just a stud. You don't have to unthread the bolt from it. Let's go ahead and tighten them up by hand now. Alright, there you have it. That's how you change hydraulic filters on the Zamboni 500, 546. Pretty much all of them. Even if you have an electric one, you still have hydraulic system in it. I think the newer ones don't have hydraulic motors. They have electric motors. That's how I change the filters. Got one right there. Got one behind here. As well as the fluid is nice and good. It's probably a little bit, it's not warmed up yet. It's going to get a little bit higher, so that's good ballpark right there. Stuck about 6 quarts of oil in there. Hydraulic fluid. Go ahead and get yourself one of these. Like I said, it's going to make it a lot easier. I got it off without it. I can't even remember what we used last time. I must have borrowed someone. Andy must have had one he brought in for us to use. I can't remember where ours went or what happened to it. So get yourself one of those. 50 bucks. You probably get a plastic one. I'll go with the metal one. I like the strap wrenches better on the bigger filters, but this one worked just as good. So I'm not sure if I can add too much more of this. Go ahead and comment below if you feel like you want to add to the conversation. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. As always, hope you learned something. Like the localized man says, stay cool.